here is a short demo of the VSOptima platform. Once you log into the system, you can see all your models created before. You can see examples below. Let's create the new one and explore how VSOptima works. Let's name our new model the demo diagram. As you can see, the start element is created right away. The start element is responsible for the process input generation. On the right panel, Properties, you can find various parameters defining the behavior of the model elements. In the case of the start element, you can specify how often the new item comes into the process and what is the distribution of intake frequency. It might be uniform, normal, or skew distribution. Let's keep it uniform and have only one operational item coming to the process daily. You can add more start elements if you want to model different types of items coming to the process. To do so, you can drag another start element from the small bar on the top of the canvas. On this bar you can find the rest of the modeling elements: start, step, end, and the comment. We already explored start elements, let's move on and add one or two steps and one end of the process element. The process step is the second element we will explore. On the properties bar, it has a processing time. Processing time reflects how long it takes to execute a step. You can also specify the processing time distribution. And below you can find a field to specify information required for the capacity calculation. What roles are responsible for the step execution and how many people in these roles do you need. You can specify additional parameters for multiple inputs and outputs for a step. Let me add one feedback line from step 2 to step 1. Now, step 1 has two different inputs, therefore we need to specify the priority of getting items between them. By default, priorities are equal, but if you need, you can always change that. The lower number reflects that the item from corresponding input will be processed earlier. If you have several outputs, as we have for step 2, you should specify the output flow distribution among them. For instance, for the second step, we can say that we have 30% going back to the previous step, we can call it rework, and only 17% are completed successfully and goes to the end of the process. Another exciting parameter of a step is called cycle time. It reflects whether a step is cyclical or continuous. By default, all steps are continuous, with the cycle time value equals to 0. But if you want to make the step cyclical, you need to specify the number in the cycle time parameter. For instance, step 2 will get items into work every 2 weeks. The last important element of the model is a line. Lines reflect not only the flow direction, but also represent skews, where item sits between steps if there is not enough capacity to take it forward. And if you need additional delay for a queue, you can easily do so. You can also specify how many items sits in the queue at the beginning of simulation. The most exciting part about VSOptima is simulation that shows how your process behaves in dynamic. Push the simulation button and you get simulation result right away. You can go to the configuration if you want to change parameters of simulations. You can specify simulation length, the time unit for simulation, and playback speed. Once you run a simulation, below on the bottom panel, you can see the aggregated process performance metrics. Their description are hidden under the help link. You can also explore different process flows sorted by their frequency and see what happens on each of the step and queue. You can play back the process to any day of simulation and see the state of any step in the queue as well. The red color highlights that a step is a bottleneck at the flow. I hope you find this overview helpful, so see you next time after the next release.